Focus camera, focus. Hello and welcome to some more Dyson Sphere Program. I am live, aren't I? Yeah. Audio's coming through. Video's there. Excellent. There was a bit of a rush these because I sort of come in from work and it's, you know, get set up and go sort of thing. Not that I don't enjoy them, it's just a bit of a panic usually. Get going. Right then, Dyson Sphere Program. I have not a clue. I'm pretty sure I did do some extra stuff during the week. What? I don't know. I think it was just a few more blueprints that I made. Let's load up. I guess if we load game and load that one up, would that be the 15th last week? Or have I got another one? Second impressions 10. Nope. Nope, looks like this is the one. Right, load that up. I was getting some screen caps for the thumbnails for the YouTubes. Which I'm not 100% sure where I am and what I've done. We appear to be doing a research. Okay, that's fine. Which blueprints have we got then? This is the question. I think... Which ones did I do on stream and not? I haven't a clue. That's not very good. I can't remember. I think I did these on stream, so I don't think I've actually done any. Maybe I haven't played it. Oh well. The aim today, basically, is to actually start plopping some of these down and doing stuff. Because I've made a few of the... Well, basically made... Oh, what did happen there? Basically, the game is weirdly loud for me. Where I wouldn't be expecting it to. Because that's all the way down at 8% and I can hear that really loud. Maybe we tweak that down. Oh god, that's my phone. Hang on 1 second. Right, that was brilliant. Some spam call about lagging in the loft. Con artists, eh? Con artists. Right, so that's hopefully a bit better. I don't see how at 8% it can be blasting my ears out. Right, yes, so we need to get a few of these plopped down around the planets, basically. Now, I was going to check and see which ones I'd actually made, because I think I've made magnetic coils, haven't I? Let's have a look. I do like in this game that you can have multiple menus open. That's a really useful thing. Have we done? Yeah, we've done magnetic coils. So we haven't done these higher level things, but that's fine. We did prisms and we've done stone brick. I mean, technically we don't have anything down for graphite, but that's a bit complicated. We could in theory do some of the chemical stuff. I'm not actually sure if I'm too fussed about that. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's the new traffic monitor. Okay. That was introduced in a recent update there. It tells you how many items are going through on a belt, as I understand it. I don't know if it also does the music. Oh, it says can be set to trigger an alarm, so I guess that does the tone thing. Interesting. I couldn't actually see what use it might be. But interesting. Right, yes, so I say we could do something like, you know, the chemical stuff like sulfuric acid and those sorts of things, but I think what I'd rather do is spend the stream sort of flying around the various planets and putting in some of these blueprints at some of the, you know, resource slots, because that's fairly boring work in a sense. That's a great way to promote your stream, isn't it? We're going to do some boring stuff today. But yeah, mainly because, I'll be honest, so the weekend I was continuing my Factorio. It's so pretty, this game. Continuing my Factorio speed run. And it left me a bit worn out, to be honest with you, because we're only 45 minutes off of actually doing the no spoon achievement. And I got a bit sort of excited, shall we say, that we might actually have done it on Sunday. No. I got excited that we might have done it on the Saturday, or got, you know, close enough to finish it off on the Sunday. But no, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't really possible. I never thought it would be, but we got so close. But doing it sort of left me a bit frazzled. Actually, the last sort of half of the stream on the Sunday. Why is there a chest with some titanium in it? The last part of the stream on Sunday was a bit just me sort of, you know, sat there, not really quite knowing what to do. Oh, hi Grim, how you doing? How was your weekend at your dad's? I was just talking about I got really close at the weekend doing the you know, the no spoon run, like as in I missed it by 45 minutes, which I'm not, you know, I'm not bothered by that in a sense, but it was like I was just saying, basically plan today is to do simple stuff effectively, because it left me a bit drained, if I'm totally honest. Right, so we don't need any of that stuff. But basically I'm going to go around to the other planets, and I got no time for chit chat, yeah, by miles as well, because that's 15 hours. Let's really stock up. I don't think I'm using too many of them just yet. And it was so the eventual time on that playthrough was 8 hours and 44 minutes. So it sort of shows you how close we actually got. Got some of them. Let's grab a bunch of these. I say, and I wasn't, you know, when I started it, I wasn't actually anticipating doing the achievement on that first attempt. Am I going to need that many? Probably not, but whatever. Let's grab some more of them. But yeah, and it's sort of when it looked like it was maybe a vague possibility. I sort of switched into trying to do it mode, and it left me a bit sort of. I can see why people really enjoy doing speed runs. That was one of the things, and like in a general sense, not just Factorio. I can kind of see where the appeal is now, because I never really kind of understood it, if I'm totally honest. You know, games are there to be played, to be savoured in a sense, you know. It's sort of how I tended to feel about it. But actually doing that, you can kind of see, because there's a lot of, you know, there's obviously a lot of precision to it, you know, a lot of doing things perfectly. I've got so much of that, which is actually quite, you know, fun in and of itself. So yeah, so we're just going to go round to the various. Should I take some of them? I already got some, really. Various, you know, the other planets in the solar system, and sort of set up some of these blueprints that I've made. So we're going to need plenty of them. In fact, probably more than we're making, given how many blueprints we've got. So we'll put that a bit higher. Which we need to do anyway, but what are they? They're the planetaries. Okay. You know, we need to do that anyway, but you know, we could have worked on some more blueprints, but I don't really fancy doing that. If we get some of them, I mean, I haven't really got any interplanetary ones sort of on the go. Yeah, so we'll leave them. And what, we've got one there. What are you waiting? Oh, you're waiting on them things. Okay. Might. Let's see if I've got. I mean, we're not going to need at this stage loads and loads of them anyway. So let's just put some of them back. So what might we might need? Assemblers, got them. Might need smelters, got mining machines. We're not going to need oil, but let's just leave it in inventory. Got a bunch of basic materials to do a bit of crafting with. Oh, we've got one random silicon. Okay, where's that? Let's pop that in there. You see, the other thing, I haven't properly made the decision of whether I'm going to fly to another solar system, or if we just sort of try and build a Dyson Sphere here. Right, let's go and get some graphite. Missed the spin by 45 minutes. Yeah, I say that it was really close, and I say that was kind of what made me, on the Saturday, I was like, we might actually do this, and I would like sort of knuckled down, you know, and trying to do it, which to some extent was a bad idea, because obviously that would mean I would need to do something else on Sunday, and I don't know what series I'm going to do next. Right, what do we need? Coal, which is not coal, power stuff. Which is over where? Where's that? Is that? No, it's not the power. Okay. Oh, here we go. It's over there. It had to be nearby. Did anything that helped you streamline the next go? Yeah, definitely. Basically, I need to think more carefully about like the order of things and when to build particular stuff. Not like massively different to what I did, but for example, like building the prod modules and putting them into the rocket silo was good, but it also helps to have like beacons on the side, not loads, but just to compensate for the prod modules, because that slows it down quite a lot. And in particular, rocket control units, which, I mean, I'm not saying this like I didn't know it already, but rocket control units are massively expensive and time consuming to make, because it's like 30 seconds craft time, and of course I'm not going up. Oh, what am I doing there? Whoops. What happened there? I'm not going above blue in assemblers, so in fact it's actually more like, you know, 40 seconds or something craft time. Where are we going to go first? If we go, I fancy going to that one, to be honest with you. Don't know why, but let's give it a go. Oh. Yeah, they have obviously a gigantic craft tower, which, you know, I know sort of thing, but you don't think about it in terms of, well, how many machines do I actually need to make them? Because obviously you need to make, well, you don't need to make 1,000 because of the prod modules, but you need to make 700 of them sort of thing. And if you think about it, obviously, if you had one machine making 700, it would take hours sort of thing. But you've got to supply them with speed modules and blue circuits, and it's like that's quite expensive. So, you know, how many of each do you make? And one of the things I thought might be a good idea was to switch off all the research. So switch off all of the machines making, you know, red potions and green potions and all of that stuff. Switch all that off. Not to save power, because obviously there's enough power in the thing, but in order to stop the resource draw. So obviously the belts would end up filling up, but that's pretty quick. But then everything can basically go into making the rocket control units, because at the end of it, I actually had way more rocket fuel and low density structures left. I had loads of them left over, and it was just rocket control units. So if I'd started making them earlier, we would actually probably have done it. But also I made a mistake with, I upgraded the blue science machines to blue assemblers, but I didn't upgrade, and I just forgot basically. I didn't upgrade the engines, you know, the motors, the engines feeding into it. So they ended up being the bottleneck on science, and to the extent that all of the other sciences were backed up on the belts, but blue was just the one sort of trickling through. So if that had been done, the actual rocket research would have been done a lot quicker. But yeah, it was so it was quite fascinating, and it's. I mean, there are a couple of things I think you could do that are not technically needed to make the rocket. A couple of extra research. You sort of say beacons is one. You don't need it, but it's worth doing just to give you that little speed boost on the rocket. And also, like lab research speed, because then you can put prod modules into the labs. That was one thing I didn't do. I should have put them in earlier. But now that I've got it all blueprinted out, what I can do, because obviously you need prod modules for purple science, isn't it? And then speed modules for the rocket control units. And so but those only take red and green circuits. Bang. So I can make those, even though they're right down the end, I can fill those bits out and I can use the speed and prod modules and put them into the labs, quicker. But it means bringing the researches forward a bit, doing them earlier in the list, basically. Right, so let's find the power. There's so much titanium on this planet. That's a bit silly, actually. I mean, we could set up a titanium one, I guess. Titanium smelting and silicon. Okay, where is coal? There it is. Hopefully I'm still live. It looks, the number of frames missed due to lag has just absolutely gone bonkers. It's done this before though with Dyson Sphere, because I mean I guess it's not that optimized, but hopefully it's sort of still chunky. Modded Factorio, yeah. I mean, I'd like to do a playthrough of like Crestorio or one of those more basic overhaul mods. The sort of problem I got with it, and it was the problem I had when I tried to do it before, is that because I'm unfamiliar with the changes they've made and the new stuff, I don't know that it's that interesting to stream. I tend to prefer... It's sort of like, talking about the Ark the other week, streaming that. I don't know that learning a game as well as streaming it is necessarily, it's not, I don't know, it's sort of not sure, because it's not so bad like the old trying to do a mega base, trying to do this speed run, because I know the fundamental game, so it's like a thing on top of it. And I say, but a complete overhaul mod is like having to basically relearn the game. I'm not sure. I'd rather sort of play it through first and then stream it, sort of thing. But I'm also quite keen to give it a go. What am I looking at? I'm looking on my blueprints. Which one shall I do here? If I do... I guess I could start at the beginning and do iron smelting. Yeah, it's just sticking an iron smelter. Because there's quite a lot of iron on this planet, so not a problem there. Right, so let's get some of these lads on. I should make a few of them, actually. Oh, you played Bobs and Angels? How did you find Bobs and Angels? I've been watching someone play that myself, watching someone do a series on it. And how can I put it? I mean, they played it through before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. Yeah, they've played it through before, so they know what they're doing. they're not being very efficient about it, if I'm totally honest. They're doing a hell of a lot of handcrafting and stuff. But yeah, as I say, they sort of know what they're doing in the sense they know what recipes they're trying to achieve and all those sorts of things. And it does look complicated, but not quite as complicated as people sort of make out, in the sense that, you know, it's not... Oh, that's right, I put that in the wrong place, didn't I? I'll move that over. Hopefully that updates the... There we go. No. So we want to do the basic iron. Stick this in here. So we want enough room really to bring the belts around. But that's it. Complex. Okay. The thing that seemed the most complicated, and it's the thing I think I would just find frustrating about all of the overhaul mods, and I've said this before, is the whole thing where you're like, because it gives lots of alternate recipes, doesn't it, Bobs? It's like you can make steel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why did I do 8 and not 9? There's like alternate ways of building the same basic products. And that, to me, is just sort of a bit annoying. I kind of like the whole thing building games do, where it's just like, this is how you make iron. This is how you make steel. And even those are, you know, abstractions, basically. You don't really make steel by you know, smelting some iron plate. I kind of like that about these sorts of games. It's like the essence of the process, if not the actual... In fact, let's do this properly with some actual splitters to give it some balance. Is this the best? Yeah, that'll be the best splitter to use. And I get, you know, I'm not saying if people, people enjoy doing that, that's fine. It's, you know, it's up to them sort of thing. But say, I suspect I would just get wound up by too much. Well, this you can make steel this way, or this way, or this way, and then later on you can also do it this way. And it's like, just tell me how to make steel. Yeah, let's put that one in there. Okay, right, let's get some turbine lads in. On there. Okay. Oh. Not sure I can... No. Can't put one in a sufficient place to get them all, basically. We're right next to that power, so can I just pop one of them in? Boop. Avoid Bob's Electronics to make it a bit simpler. Okay. camera's all blown up. Much more and more efficient ways, pretty much. To be honest, I found Bulb and Age a bit repetitive towards the end. Okay. Right, so this guy needs some bots, I guess. I think I'll just put in sort of a small handful, because I can always add more in, no problem. So I'll just put some in. Shall I let this properly fill up? Might as well, I guess. It's not going to cause any harm. At least it's functioning, though. It's like running and all that good stuff. Full belts going in. Cool, okay. Right then. Let's find another one and do a different recipe. What was this? So this was like 1 million. This is iron plate. Are they all in about 1 million patches? They're not far off. There's only about 5 of them, aren't there? 6? And they're all sort of the same size. That's fine then. Okay. Let's find another one then. There's one down this way. Yeah, so, you know, I'd like to kind of get into that. Not that, I mean, I've found Factorio, and I think this is one of the things about it. It's remarkably replayable, you know, as in plenty of games are replayable. But Factorio is just like so replayable that it's almost weird, you know. So if we get, say, cogs here, maybe? Am I doing that from resources, or am I... Oh, I'm obviously flying in the iron plate for that. Okay. Which one? What else have we got then? Is steel... So it might help if I tweaked the actual thing. So maybe if I make it... Oh. What? 3-1? So I'm obviously making that from iron plate, I guess, rather than raw. So I must be making them from raw, because that's what they are, they're raw resources. So I'll do that one next then. Always wanting to improve on the last factory. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Take a little break from my Mega Base and doing a run through XCOM. Cool. I love XCOM. Is that XCOM 1, presumably? Or what did they call it? Enemy Within? Enemy Unknown? Or so, I can't remember what they called the reboot one. Or are you going right back to the classics and you know, the Julian Gollop ones? I also want to say Gallop. Right, yes, so same again. Let's get some miners in. Well, so put the thing there. Okay. One there. So what's this? This is 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, okay. Can't really get 2 in there, I don't think, without fiddling about with angles, which I'm not the biggest fan of doing. Oh, that didn't get placed down. Okay, so we'll have to do... So you're both covering quite a lot. So I'll put them 2 together and then them 3. Okay. Oh. So... making it smelt. There we go. If I put that, make it clear that that's coming out of... I mean, it's obvious it has to be, but... Well, I suppose you could just stick the raw stuff in and request it up like that, couldn't you? Basically. Okay, so we want this boy down. That's plenty of room, I think. Right, so I get splitter. One now. Put these three in. Into there. And then combine these two. To there. And then these three. No. What are you doing? What are you doing, game? Messing me about? Go. Enemy within. Yeah, I really, I really like XCOM 2 as well, particularly that, that expansion. I can't remember what they were called in the end. The Chosen. I really like that mechanic as well, because it's kind of their take on the Lord of the Rings one, where it was like, what did they call it? Nemesis system. Okay, there. So it should all start running. But yeah, it wasn't massively different, XCOM 2. It was sort of, I don't know, I think they dropped the ball a little on the whole, how to put it. It was basically just the same game again, which, to some extent, all games are kind of the same game repeated, in a sense. Particularly, well, like Civilization is exactly the same basic game, but with, variation and tweaks to it. So we want, say, 10 in here again. Pop them in. Cool. But yeah, it was sort of, I say it was so the same. It was almost sort of sarcastic. It was like they sort of retconned the end almost of the first one to basically make the same game again, which is fine. But so they could have done the remade Oceans of the I can't remember what it's called, the one that was set underwater. Why am I hitting that? There we go. No, that one. No, not that one. Of the original, the old games, as it were. Right, so we got some of them being placed down. Oh, I've placed some of them down. Got them, so we could potentially add on steel. But am I making steel from raw? No, I'm just requesting it in, aren't I? So if I literally just made two... Oh, I keep doing wrong button presses. Am I literally just making iron plate? And magnets from raw. Is this from... Yeah, that's requesting stuff in as well. Okay. Has this planet even got any copper on it? Yeah, it's obviously got one copper vein, isn't it? And not a big one. Oh, there's fire ice here. Where the heck is that then? That's not what was at the pole, is it? No, that's titanium. Where's the... Oh, there we go. Okay. Interesting. Right, so I guess we could just do more of these, basically. So if we get some more iron plate going. Where am I actually going? Let's go and stand in the power. And I'll plop down some steel and the other ones. So that's making all that stuff. What I'm intending to do is effectively do like a spider web type network where it, you know, brings the resources up to the planetary logistics rather than... Because we could smelt into planetary logistics. You know, we could stick all of this into a planetary and then it will be able to go anywhere. But this way I can potentially just like order in, depending on how I want to do it, order in the copper to this planet and make, you know, motors or whatever here. And then the other way around, maybe take the iron plate to the other planet and make, you know, whatever. Something more complicated over there. War of the Chosen, yeah, that's the one. I need to do a proper run through of XCOM 2. Do you ever play Phoenix Point? Yeah, well, yes, but not a lot. So I have a bit of a thing for... So, do you know the Anno games? Anno 1800 is the latest one. But Anno 1404 was like one of my favourite games ever. But I have a bit of a thing when games launch with expansion or planned expansion passes. I'm not one of those people who get up in arms about there being planned expansion passes, but I don't like to play the game until it's complete, generally speaking, unless it's in early access. So early access games like this, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 I've played through, and if it's an early access game, I'm more than happy to, you know, play it through, add features, play it again, all that sort of stuff. But if it's launching as a complete game, I like to play the complete game. And basically, there are quite a lot of games that I'm essentially waiting for the complete game to come out and then play it all through. Phoenix Point is one of those. I did a sort of a run through of most of it, and then was like, well, I say that I found it really hard, Phoenix Point, because it's really harsh with like the tech tree. You're sort of so squishy to start with, and the enemies seem so overpowered. In fact, it's like classic XCOM. I mean, modern XCOM's similar, but it's like classic XCOM basically, where you just get like your arse handed to you basically, and you just have to get. It's like those games have always had that weird power curve where you start off at such. It's like instead of like a ramping up of difficulty, it starts hard and actually gets easier as you get more and more techs. You just get so many more options of types of explosive and all this sort of stuff that the game actually gets easier, and it becomes more about tactical choices and those sorts of decisions, which is an interesting dynamic. But it tends to mean you have to play the game through a couple of times. I find until you find that sweet spot on the way of doing it. And as I say, because Phoenix Point launched and they had like 5 DLCs planned, I was like, well, I'll just wait for the DLCs. And I didn't really appreciate it was going to be like 2 years before all the DLCs were out. So yeah, I've played it, but I only had one where I was like close to doing okay, and basically the other times I just died, basically just got obliterated. Play one of the Anno games. So have you actually? How far have you got? Have you played through Phoenix Point? Or say, did you sort of give up? I say I really like the idea of it and the concept. And the alien designs they had were pretty cool and that sort of thing. But I say I'd rather wait until they've done all the DLCs and then I'll give it a proper go. Because it seemed like quite a big, complicated game, to play through. It's like I always do the same with Civilization. I mean, Civilization is famous for... It's usually 2 expansion packs, 2 DLCs before the game is really good. And that's kind of been the same pattern for years. You know, loads of releases. But this time, they seem to go even further with the DLCs. So they were like, you know, well, if you just bought the individual ones, there were dozens and dozens of them. But yeah, I mean, same with 1800. Played it through a bit, and then they started announcing, oh, there's going to be a new expansion, season pass, you know, as they called it. I do wish they'd stop calling things season passes. It doesn't make any sense to me, really. 4, 6, 8. So 2, 4, 6. No, I need to redo that, don't I? Because I need 9 again, really. Because, you know, what season are we talking about here? You know, is it spring or is it, you know... Yeah, so Anno 1800 was particularly chronic from that point of view, in that there were 3... I mean, they actually... I started, you know, my proper run-through after the second season pass. And the game was so popular that they announced an additional one, so I stopped and waited for all of those to be released. So I really like... I mean, they're very German, the Anno games, to put it bluntly. Will that fit in there? Yeah, that will go in there. Yeah, I haven't found the sweet spot. Yeah. I say, which, you know, is kind of expected in that sort of game. That's kind of what I expect to happen. You know, when I play those sorts of games, but it does mean it's quite time consuming, you know, and it's like, I say, I'd rather wait for all the DLC to be there. Hang on, I've put too many in now. 3, 6. Yeah, I've put 1 too many. Let's take them out. Yeah. The thing that can backfire on that approach, though, is because I've more money than sense, to be honest with you. So I'll buy games. You know, I should really, if I'm going to take that approach, I should wait for all of the DLC to be out and see, you know, did the DLC, you know, improve the experience, or was the community like really pissed, you know, annoyed with the DLC and it was bad value for money and all that sort of stuff. But instead I'll buy the, you know, the base game and then, you know, at the DLC as they come out. I mean, City Skylines is another one that's really chronic example of that. I say, if that DLC doesn't... Say, for example... Well, I mean, an example there is... whatchamacallit? Evil Genius 2. Because I really liked the first game. But they sort of missed... They didn't do a very good job with Evil Genius 2. Because it feels more like a mobile game. And there's a heck of a lot of you sort of... Oh, didn't connect this one. Have you sort of... building things, or you're particularly sending your minions out on missions, is just basically so non-involved. Well, the example I always sort of give with that game is it has a system, like a lot of, man management type games, base building and those types of games, for you to assign your minions to jobs. No, sorry, other way around. It has a system for you to basically prioritize what jobs individual minions, do. And some have more competency with other jobs and those sorts of things. It's quite common. You've got oxygen not included as that type of system and all that sort of thing, which is great. And so you can go through and spend sort of an hour fiddling about and optimizing that system. And then basically what happens is you send your minions out on jobs. And they die. I mean, they don't actually die. The idea is they live a life of luxury, ill-gotten gains, all that type of thing. But they go from your base, and you have no way of selecting which minion goes on any mission. You do the mission, and you have to do different types of minions going on the missions to make them succeed and all that sort of stuff. But you can't say, well, I want Fred to go on the mission because Fred is rubbish at all this stuff that I need my minions to do. You can't assign a particular minion to the job. So you go through and you optimize who's doing what, and then the guy who's the best at like cooking gets randomly sent on the mission. And it's like, you've missed the point of this type of game. In this type of game, that optimization process is what the game is about. So for you to then, take that ability away from the player means you've not understood this type of game. So yeah, that was really disappointing, that one. And the particular problem there is the DLCs haven't improved it. They've not really given any more tools to do that job better. Which one did I put in here? I put in smelting, didn't I? So if we put in that one, like that. Bit more room, I think. And yes, Anno's a sort of a it's like a logistic chain simulator, but yeah, you build a city, and the idea is that you then also build the production chains to feed the goods into your city. So your citizens in the game have particular demands, essentially. So, it has different ways of describing the citizens, but in different games. I haven't got any left. But basically, in Anno 1800, you have the lowest level citizen is a peasant, basically. And then you have the next tier up is a worker, and then you have engineers, then you have artisans, then you have, in fact, it's the other way around, I think. It's artisans, then engineers, and then what it calls investors. So it's like a tiered structure of citizens. And as those go up, they have more and different demands. So at the base, every tier has a demand for booze. So every single type of citizen, you have to produce a booze. And that booze becomes effectively more expensive as you go up the tiers. So because it's a German game, you'll get like... So in Anno 1800, that base tier for the peasant workers is schnapps, basically. I say because it's a German game. And then the next tier up, they demand, beer. And then the next tier up, they demand... I can't remember what they demand after that. But you get the point. It's a different type of booze. I mean, the investors is champagne, because they're, upper class or whatever. And the basic point is that as you go up those chains, they become sort of more difficult to produce. or require new resources that you haven't harvested yet, or that sort of thing. And so you build the production chains for making them. So schnapps, the most basic booze, you basically build potato fields to get potato, and then you build a schnapps distillery to turn those potatoes into schnapps, basically. But for booze, you have to build both. For beer, you have to build both. Will that go in there and do all of them? Yeah, you have to build wheat fields to make, as well as hop fields. Because beer is basically wheat. Grain alcohol plus hops basically for flavour. So you've then got 2 raw ingredients, and you take those to a malting house, and then the malting house product goes to a brewery. So you've got a more complicated production chain. And basically that's the game. You go up the levels with more and more, products of more and more complexity, or requiring more and more ingredients. And basically you have a set of islands that you harvest the resources from, and they have different fertilities, and basically you set up a logistical, it's basically, it's like a supply chain logistics simulator, really. But unlike something like this, it's based around feeding your populace, basically. And so I really enjoy it. And one of the things that I really like about the game is it takes a lot of the gnaws out. So although you've got that supply chain, all of the citizens basically doing the work will just automatically cope. So you don't have to set up. You have to connect the buildings with roads, but you don't have to say, there's a car that takes the wheat from the fields to the thing. It all just sorts itself out, so long as you give it the right things in the right sort of ratios and that sort of stuff. It will just work, basically. And what you have to worry about is grabbing the resources, building the buildings, that sort of thing. But yeah, so it's sort of a one of the things with. I mean, I think it's gorgeous. Basically, all of the Anno games, all the way back to 1701, are really, really pretty. It's sort of very detailed 3D, textured models, basically, and it looks really, really good. And you build. It's like a very grid-based system like this, but you can do things to make it look prettier. But it can look a bit, if you just do it as the most optimal settings, it's all very gridded and regimental, which is quite Germanic, really. But what they added, particularly in 1800, because it's themed around the Industrial Revolution, and what they added particularly is lots of different maps. So there's like the, Europe, the Old World, the New World, which is sort of roughly Latin America. But there's the Arctic. There's what else did they add? Gone blank. Oh, there's Africa, the Land of Lions, it's called. And so you get different supply chains going around and about. So I really enjoy it, but I do know it's not for everyone. And but yeah, so, and like I say, I've owned it for years, and every time they announce we're doing a new season pass, I stop playing it and wait for the season pass. So it just sits there waiting for me to start a new game, like for the last 4 years or something. Right, that can't be all the patches. Oh, there's one over there. There we go. So we'll grab that one as well. You got 2205, yeah. I think I got it free from the Epic. Yeah, I was going to say, I actually have, I was talking about the Ark Survival. I've got that. That was on Epic, free on Epic. I don't have all the DLCs. I don't know if they're good, important. But there was a couple that it came free with. But it's actually on Game Pass as well at the moment. and has been for a while. And I don't know if that's a complete version either, but yeah, I mean, Epic has given away so many games. I know people sort of hate it for some reason. Quite why, I don't quite understand. It is disappointing it's not really been updated properly. I think given how much money Epic makes, the fact it's virtually not changed for years seems a bit silly. But what am I going to make here? So if we make more of this, more iron smelting, I think. Oh, have I not got... Oh, it goes between tropics. Okay. Same there. Right. So maybe if we put it on the edge. Okay. Something like that, maybe. Arc DLC is massive. Okay. 2205 is so one of the things they do. So 2205. If you add up the numbers 2205, it adds up to 9. So that's what they do for each game, and it moves them through the eras. So 1404, 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. 1800, obviously 1 plus 8 is 9. 2205 is, 2205 is 9. They also did, I think they did 2241 or something like that. So that's why it's some weird numbers. But it means it's in different eras. So 2205 is obviously set in the future. If I'm totally honest, it's not one of the better annos. It's I'm not saying it's bad, but generally speaking, the historical ones are sort of more fun generally. So like 1404, 1701, they're like considered the really good ones, but certainly you can play 2205 and get a good idea. So what they did with 2205, that was the first one they did proper world instances, and they hadn't really got a proper handle on it. And that's something they've massively improved in 1800. It's so much better how they've done it in 1800. But so it works and stuff. The problem they've always had with a lot of anno games, or I've always had, and I think it's a general thing, the combat's a bit rubbish, and they focus quite a lot in 2205 on the combat. There's entire instances, entire maps as it were, where it's basically about the combat, and the combat's not all that interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 2 more. But so I'm not in a way saying it's bad. It is the same basic gameplay as all the others. It's just that thing of if you're ranking the games in the series. So I mean, I think most Anno fans would say 1800 is probably the best one they've ever done. 1, 2. So if I put this here. But 22 must be 2241. That's quite a good one. It's more it's got quite an eco bent to it. Although you can go industrial, but it's got like effectively 2 opposing factions within the same game, as in citizens of yours. Like some are industrial and some are like eco warriors basically. And you can either balance them or go full on down one route, or so they do try and have different mechanics, in the games. Yeah, I mean, 2205. You play that, it'll certainly give you a good impression of the type of game it is. I've got loads of games on the Epic Game Store from ones they gave away. I should really play more of them, I guess, but I've got some. I was fiddling about with it the other day. I've got over 400 games on my. Well, it calls them games. Sometimes it counts DLC on Steam as an entire game. But I've got like over 400 games on Steam. I say I haven't. I've got sort of about 250 and a load of DLC. It seems to count as a game. It's because I'm a victim of the classic Steam sale problem, where there'll be a Steam sale and some indie game that I really fancied but didn't buy when it came out goes on sale for £3. And oh, it's a great bargain. Well, it's a great bargain, but if you never play it, it's not much of a good investment. Worth the money you pay for it. Okay. I might just do that, because obviously I say the main game was free, basically. So I might just get the DLC if and when I get round to it. As I say, I'm thinking, depending on which one finishes first. I'll be honest, I'm not sure I want to keep streaming on Monday. It's a bit much. Particularly, the trouble is slotting it in all the time. Because I sort of come back from work and then it's straight into the stream. Is this all of the iron patches? It's got to be close. Because this is all. There is loads of titanium here. Titanium. I think that's all of the iron patches tapped. Okay. Right, so let's go. How many have we got left? Oh, I've got 12 left, okay. Let's go and stick some of the stone down as well, then. Where is stone? That's all titanium, not stone. That's iron again. I didn't put any bots in, did I? In fact, I don't think I did on several of them. Where's the other one that won't have bots in? Maybe that one? There's stone there anyway, so we can go that way. Oh! Out of fuel. Crikey. That's not good. Have you got bots in? Yeah. Don't really tell on my list, but you can add me as a friend if you like. Yeah, start of the week. Yeah, it's I say it's because it's a work day basically, and it's sort of as in obviously Friday's a work day, but it's a different thing. I don't actually think I've, because most of the multiplayer games I've done, you actually do the. Why is that's annoying? Why don't I hide that patch? So I don't think I've actually got any friends on my Steam thing, because you tend to do them. In fact, have I ever played a multiplayer game on my Steam account? Because everyone's got a blooming launcher now. Because when we play. Yeah, because there's like the Blizzard Activision launcher and things. There we go. Which I think the vast majority of my Steam games are single player ones. Because I tend to buy, like, vast majority of what I play is indie stuff. And it's, you know, all single player, basically. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Also, to be totally frank, I'm massively antisocial, so... so that would be that one. But am I making that from raw or no? Okay. So that one. What about that? Is that from raw? Oh, no, it's the extension. No. Okay. So I need to put the same one down. That one. For every stone one. That can't be right. We need another blueprint. Because I don't want to convert it all into stone. Am I seriously making the glass from... Not making the glass, rather, from... okay. Hang on, I'll plot that down. So, hang on. So this is really from... Oh. Put this down so I can check it out, please. Oh no, it is storage. It just doesn't have the belts on it. That's annoying. Okay. Not sure about these tweaks they keep doing to that. Okay, I'm going to game rights. Oh, the main story is behind the DLC? No, okay. That's, I mean, obviously that's to force people to get the DLC, I assume. 1, 2, so if we go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we go, yeah. I mean, one thing I would like to give go is a bit of multiplayer Factorio. Because I've never played that multiplayer. No, that shouldn't be there, really, should it? If I get that in there, is that going to get in the way? But, I say I'm not, I don't know. Probably like to give an overhaul mod a go with multiplayer rather than vanilla, because I don't know, I'm not sure in a sense what it would add, which is why I've never really, because it's not like there's a multiplayer version of Factorio and a single player, you know what I mean? It's the same game. And as you've seen, I tend to, it's something I need to fix really, which is something I think I'll stream a series where I sort of make some blueprints, basically. Standardize some of my blueprints. Somewhere in there? No, you're not getting hit. Okay. But yeah, I tend to like to make things myself, as it were, and I know a lot of players don't do that. So it's like, I'm guessing if I played multiplayer with most people, they would just stick down their blueprints and fill them out, sort of thing. As I say, not there's anything wrong with that way of playing, but it's like, I don't quite see what I would bring, in a sense. Right, let's get some of that on there, because we're dangerously running out of stuff. Where am I looking for? So, you had bots, didn't you? What about you? I think you will have, but we'll go and check. Then where's more stone? Because there were several stone veins. Well, there's 2 million of the stuff. Where are all the stone veins? That's the one we've done. Oh, it's right next to it here. Is that it? If that's 1.2 and that's 1, then that's it, isn't it? There's only 2. Oh! Thank you for the... Oh. Oh! Are you a real... Thank you for the follow, Gigabot. Hello, hello. How it goes? Are you a human or are you a bot? I've had a bit of trouble with my channel where I seem to have got on some kind of bot list and they basically come in and spam me about, I don't know, buying followers or some rubbish. Mostly human. Okay. Play a large amount of the game without, to the point that you can get a bit creative thinking every creature without the DLC. Okay. We'll be able to do great blueprints and carry them through. Probably do my starter base and follow after that. Okay. Well, welcome to the stream, Gigabot. Be you human or be you bot? Hope you're having a good day. Where I found that stone patch and then I've lost it again. I was going to check this to see if I had the old bots in. Where the heck is... Oh, it's right there. Okay. So we're going to stick the other one on that. Have you got... Yes, you have. Right, so I bet I didn't put them in there. Having said I needed to put them in, I've then not put them in. In there. Over here. So where are we going to put the actual blueprint? Because it's this one here. Bit of stuff on both. Maybe we just stick it on the other side of the... I'm loath to sort of turn them around, and they don't really work like that anyway, do they? I say I'm not massively impressed with the blueprinting system. If it hasn't been obvious, it's okay. But if I put it there, it's going to be difficult to expand it, isn't it? But then that's in the way of the silicon. Oh, I can always just take out the whatchamacallits. Rough because how good blueprinting is in Factorio. Yeah, it's really difficult to go from such a great system. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some bits of this they've done that are absolutely brilliant, which is particularly the shift click and the shift, you know, the drag building. That is so good. I really, really, really like that. But then the actual blueprints, not a fan. It's sort of clunky and like this. If I want to edit this blueprint, and you may know, but so I want to edit this blueprint. How do I edit this blueprint? I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's something I can do. Because it needs like the inputs basically. I've forgotten to include the inputs in the blueprint. And I can always switch this to demand, you know, to pull it from the other one. But it's like, do I just quickly edit this blueprint? In Factorio, you can just click the button and redo the blueprint. And it's like a much more painful process, or one that isn't clearly explained. But say, it's sort of, I guess, really, the point in a sense is to have a set of blueprints that you just reuse for the basics, as it were, maybe. Because the fact that they're in folders and stuff is, I think, that's a really good idea. The fact that they're text files that you can just transfer over, that's really good. I think I'm just going to have to just bite the bullet and get rid of some of these things. Was this really in a good place? I don't think it was it? Should have been a bit further up. Oh well. Oh well. Well, you say you first go. I don't know that it was really Factorio's. They have refined it. Didn't quite when I started playing blueprints, and I'm going to say this because they are items in the game, blueprints, but you had to manufacture blueprints. You used to have to make them out of a green circuit, which was fine, but a bit pointless, which is why they removed it. But it was a technology you unlocked, like in this game. And you actually had to make the blueprints. And it meant, what it ended up meaning is the blueprints were, let's not call them precious items, but you didn't want to get rid of blueprints because even though it was a green circuit, particularly very early on, you were like, well, you know, I don't want to destroy this blueprint. If I make a mistake and I want to get rid of the blueprint, it's, you know, it is an item that I would actually rather keep because it has a cost to me, which is why they swapped it out for, you know, a cost-free version. But it didn't have blueprint books either. That doesn't make sense, does it? So you ended up with I remember having chests of blueprints and having to go and get my blueprints. And you didn't used to be able to transfer them between games. It's probably why I don't do that, because you didn't used to be able to do it, and I'm just stubborn basically. But yeah, you didn't used to be able to transfer them around and stuff like that. So why are you not going in? No, go in the right hole. So yeah, they have tweaked it, but the fundamentals were definitely there, you know, from the beginning, basically. Factorio. Well, they were going to do like a radical overhaul at one point, and then they sort of backed away from it. Started playing after that, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not saying it was bad, but it just, you know, it wasn't as good as it is now. Which, you know, I'm saying for this game, yeah, I'm sure they'll do some tweaks probably to how they've done the system, and certainly introduce maybe a bit more tutorial around it, that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, I think they did actually tweak it in an update, didn't they? Because they changed these. Where is it? I think they changed the number of items that it allowed. Yeah, I think they made it because it didn't used to be 150. But I'm not sure I agree with this idea full stop of having it set a limit. Why bother? You know, why not just give you blueprinting? In fact, why make it a research cost at all? Why not just give you... And that's what it was in Factorio. You had to research blueprints. It's like in Factorio, I still don't really agree with the idea that red and green circuits, you know, like the logistic network, that you have to basically manufacture those items. I think it should just be... Well, it should either be that if you're going to have to manufacture them and you have a blueprint with them in, or, you know, anything like that, you've built a structure and you copy and paste it or whatever, then you should have to have the the red and green wires, you know, in your inventory to put them onto the blueprint, you know. Or the other way around, that they don't have any cost, they're just free items. Because it seems daft to me that you can, you know, you have to make them and you have to use them when you're setting up a, you know, a logic system with them in. You have to have them there and, you know, manually put them on, and they've got a cost, so you can run out of red and green wire. But then when you slap it down as a blueprint, they just magically appear out of nowhere. That doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Because why give them a cost? Why do they have a cost if actually you're going to give like 99.9% of them away for free? That just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I say just make them free. It's just a thing on your hotbar. You can add logic conditions to them, you know. But you know, I mean, we're so in the weeds there. It's not really an issue. So we've got this one copper vein. I guess we could stick on, because literally copper is just copper smelting. So if we add that in, then we can at least make some of the local, like the magnets and stuff here. But really, we would need an international one. I did it again, interstellar. We would need an interstellar one to bring copper either here or take everything off planet, you know. Right, so more resource gathering. I tell you what, this is a million times quicker. So I'm not a fan of the blueprints, but this is a million times quicker than when I did it in my first playthrough. It took days to mine up all the resources. Because every single one of those that I've just done, I had to do by hand, basically. Oh my god, it was so tedious. Right, so copper smelting. Oh, wrong one. That one. There we go. So let's put it out the way of this. So down here, maybe? Other way around. Oh. The window shortcut key was a good move too. Yeah. I tried the multiplayer mod for Dyson Sphere the other day. Oh, right. It's very playable. The only real jankiness was the mech movement. Looks a bit off sometimes. Okay. So you mean as in what's he called, Icarus? That mech movement, or do you mean like the bots and stuff? I do sometimes wonder. I mean, I guess I don't. I mean, I know a lot of people don't give any kind of you know, don't care at all about like VR and stuff. But it's something I'm. Have I run out of splitters? I think I have, haven't I? Where are they? Yeah, I have run out of them. Make a few more. But you get a lot of VR mods, or you know, not VR mods, but mods made for VR, for games for VR, as it were. And obviously they're not perfect or anything. You know, and you see, you know, I watch YouTubers playing them through and stuff, but say because I haven't got the hardware. But you sort of end up wondering why the companies don't just make, you know, I mean, they could even just like bung the modder, you know, a couple of grand, you know, once they've done it, sort of thing. Not, you know, but they just don't seem to do it, and it does make me wonder sometimes, kind of why not, you know. In fact, going away back on some of these streams, we were discussing, there's a lot of IPs. Why am I even putting that there? Why don't I move it around the corner? There are a lot of IPs that companies have that it just doesn't make any sense to me why they don't sort of basically sell out the licenses. Because people are talking about Konami doing this with things like Silent Hill and stuff. But like, there's older games like, what's a good example? Syndicate, maybe. Something like Syndicate. Or, you know, you know, the old Bullfrog games. I used to love all the old Bullfrog games. And they just don't do anything with them. And when they do, it's some mobile game. And it's like, well, okay, I'm sure a lot of people love mobile games, but I'm never going to get one. You know, I'm never going to play it because it's just not... I just don't tend to enjoy the types of things that work on mobile games. You know, that type of play. I say, it's just sort of like, it seems a bit daft that they sit there with all this IP when they could let some indie studio have a crack at a Syndicate game, you know, and what does that cost them? You know, they'd probably be seen as, you know, quite kind. Obviously, you know, they'd have to, the terms would have to be okay because they're just ripping them off. That would be bad PR. But say, what harm does it do to EA to let some tiny indie... It's almost like the Warhammer approach, you know how... And they've gone a bit too far, I think, with it, but Games Workshop just lets basically anybody make a game. And obviously they take a slice of any profit sort of thing. But it's like, why not? You know, it's... What harm does it do Games Workshop for there to be, you know... I mean, some of them are rubbish, you know. But what harm does that do Games Workshop? It doesn't really. Everyone knows it's just licensed out. It's not their game. Oh, the rotations would glitch. Okay. Some game devs do incorporate mods into the game arc. Yeah, I think Factorio have done it as well, haven't they? They've I don't know about pinched some of the. I know Satisfactory has as well, where they've essentially, if not copied it, then done their version of the mod sort of thing. Huge IP, yeah. Warhammer is a huge IP. It pays off to let them take a piece. Yeah, you know, I say it sort of always seemed a bit sort of daft to me that it's like, I mean, it's one of the. I mean, it's getting a bit fundamental about it. It's one of the sort of problems of capitalism in that, you know, corporations can own IP because corporations are sort of people in a legal sense. So they can own IP in the same way that, you know, an author owns the IP of their book. But it's then people who work for that company who make decisions about the IP, so it's all a bit messed up, really. And you tend to get, it's particularly a thing with big corporations, they tend to get, they're sort of risk averse, which is fine generally, I guess, but you know, it's like, I mean, Far Cry 6 recently came out, sort of thing, and it's basically just another Far Cry game. And it's like they've not taken any risks. Well, why have they not taken any risks? Why have they not done anything different? Well, it's because it costs an absolute fortune to make, so it's easier to make a game that they know a good chunk of people will buy, and maybe it will fluke into a massive hit, but there's enough people will buy another Far Cry game for them to just do basically the same thing. Right, so I think we've got like all the sort of basic ones. So what we can do now is chuck in some of the slightly more complicated stuff we've got. So like the prisms and things. And then this planet is making... Because that was made from... Yeah, so we'll pop that one in. Yeah, this planet is then basically making all the basics. Which we kind of need it to do. Wait, is that me there? Where do I put these? Let's give it room to expand, I guess. Just plop it in there. Oh, did that? What? What's that telling me? Oh, is that saying they've not got any of them? Because they didn't have very many. I could stick some more. I don't know if I've got any upgrades I can do. I'd forgotten about that. Haven't I got... No, I'm mostly out of things that don't require purple. And that requires that. So I can't do any of them. But we could do some more of these. Can't we? Yeah. So that requires purple, which would be the most useful one. But let's add some of these on. Now that we've got titanium more freely available to it. Should I do that? I mean, might as well. They'll all be at the level 3 then, which is not a bad place to stop. But yeah, I haven't fully made the decision on whether I'm going to do warpers and go to another solar system before really doing research, or, you know, because I could completely refactor all the planets here and do the research here. Or, as I say, I could just go to another solar system and start again, in a sense. I mean, I kind of need to do all the research anyway. Some of these aren't that very expensive anyway, are they? No. Let's just chuck a few on. What have we got? A couple left. These leaked the other day. I don't know if you saw them. What the accelerants are. It seemed a bit uninteresting. Because basically they're ways of getting the machines to make things faster. Which for something like interstellar logistics stations and stuff could be useful. But they require material to go in, to be used, to make... It's like speed modules in a sense. But with the cost per item. So you have to... They're sprays basically, and you spray the items going in. It wasn't clear whether you have to spray every item going in, or you can just sort of spray one. But assuming you can just spray one, then they'd be fairly useful, I think, for building super complicated items. Because you could spray one component and then the entire thing gets produced really quickly. Just to sort of reduce the complex, you know, so you can make, you know, enough items out of, you know, one machine to satisfy your need, rather than have 50 machines. Because, you know, that'd just be quite convenient sort of thing. but you're going to have to supply it with stuff. And some of the recipes, this was like Casimir crystals, which are really a pain in the bum to make. And it's like, it looked like it would be a case of, well, just put more machines down, would do the same job. So I hope that was either an early concept or not quite what they're maybe going to do. But I was expecting it to be something more like speed modules, basically, or speed beacons. And I was actually hoping it would be applied to the vanes, because this vane utilization obviously is an infinite tech, so you can basically... in fact, it's got the mining speed on there, hasn't it? And I was sort of thinking it might be something to do with that instead. But yeah, I'm not sure that's a particularly good addition, but hopefully they're sort of, rethinking it, as it were. I've already put that one on. Yeah, let's just stick some of them on. To be honest, that's why I kind of stopped playing DSP. You could do the whole game without leaving the solar system. So travel to others was kind of just because I could, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. I'm sort of comfortable that that's like the balance of the game, because it's a bit like I was saying a while ago. You don't actually. It's called Dyson Sphere Program. But all you have to do to win the game is that one there. And it requires the whatchamacallits, all of this, not that much, but this thing. And you can only get them out of, your, I'll have to have changed it. You can only get them out of your ray receivers. But ray receivers receive power from your swarm. So you don't actually technically have to build a Dyson Sphere. You can complete the game without doing it. And I'm sort of in two minds, or you used to be able to. Maybe they've tweaked it, but I'm two minds about that, because it does mean that you can finish the game, quicker and easier. But it also means that the point of the game is it's not required. How many of these do I actually... Because I set up several iron plate ones, so I could stacks, do a stack of these, basically. And they are really used really heavily. Everything... I mean, obviously everything, in case you sort of... It wasn't... everything is only level 1 machines, because upgrading is really simple. But that's the sort of thing, I say, I've left it at that because I'm not 100% sure. Am I just going to make level 3, go straight to level 3 on a different solar system? So we've got 2 of them in. What else could we make? I guess steel? That was... Oh no, that's... We've done 2 of them. So we could make... Why does that not have a... Should be... Not titanium glass. Where's regular glass? This is another thing that I didn't... So... These are actually like differently laid out. I guess they've actually changed it because it's like, oh look, there's the spray coater. That is it, actually. That's the thing that... Plane smelter. When did they put that? That's new. When did that go into the game? When monopoles pass through the plane filter, they produce a quantum effect are self-organizing and can generate a thermodynamic negative temperature flow. Using this technology, the process of ore smelting or purification can be greatly accelerated. So those I've not. They may well have put those in a while ago. Those are new to me. But that's interesting. But that's the accelerant thing. So that, in fact, is that where the person got it from? Is it in here somewhere? In fact, I don't think it was organised this like this at all, was it? Anyway, so it's meant to be glass, but can I see? There's like a gap. Oh, here you go. That's them. These are the new ones. So use a spray coater to spray on the cargo can speed up the rate of manufacturing. Produce acceleration 25%, times of spray 2 times. You see, so you use coal, and it makes one of them, and then you can use it twice basically. Made in assembler, handmade replicator. And then the next level up, Mark 2, based on Mark 1, the raw materials formula is upgraded, which can further increase the rate of manufacture. So that increases production speed by 50%. And you get 3 sprays out of it, but it requires a level 1 plus an organic crystal. So still not particularly expensive. But then level 3, maximise the manufacturing speed with the newly upgraded raw material formula, and the requirements for the entire production line are also higher. 100% production speed, so double production speed, 5 times for each one, but it requires a Casimir crystal, which are really quite expensive. I wonder if there's anything else hidden on here that I hadn't spotted before. So yeah, I don't know if those are new or that is a hidden thing that hasn't been sort of revealed yet. Because those are the new traffic monitors, which came in with this update. I can't see any other new ones. What we got? Signals and items. But there is a gap here, isn't there? A rather conspicuous gap. The thing I am particularly interested in, because what didn't take. Okay. What I am puzzled or wondering about is the combat. I mean, that must be a new tech tree they're going to do. Right, so yes, a bit of steel. Should I fill this lake and do it further down? Or do we do them somewhere else? I've got tons of space here. Right, let's do them here. Right, so I want to whack a steel or 2 over here. Steel. Yeah. Maybe put it there. And then maybe there. How many of these have I got left? So I've only got 5 left. So what else might we pop down? Because all I haven't made out of these is prisms and magnets. So we could have a couple of them and one of them, say. Yeah. And that'll probably be it for today's stream. Let's get some bots in. 10 of them. 10 of them. We need to power across somewhere. I don't need to use one of them, do I? Oh, I do. Okay. Boop. Cool. Looks like it's all functional, at the very least. Right, where are we going to put these? Where we go? Where is the copper that we put in? There it is. So maybe maybe here. No, let's put it up here somewhere. Or the other pole. Oh, I quite like the idea of putting it on the other pole. Where is it again? It's here. So maybe put glass here and the two magnets there. Okay. That's no problem, Grim. You're off. I mean, I'm going till 7, so I'll be here for a little bit longer. But if you gotta go, no props. Thanks for joining me again. So I hope you had a good weekend. I'll be back on, obviously, at the weekend with some Factorio. Trying to finish off. Trying to finish off the the no spoon achievement. I'm going to tweak the base during the. I'm basically finished. It's basically the whole area of essentially. So the big slow part to the build really was the whole spaghetti mess that I did, basically. And I've already tidied that up. It only took a couple of hours. But what I need to do is come up with... In fact, I'll probably do this on stream. I need to come up with like a better starter design for, you know, that initial bit where you build, you know, a few red packs and a few green packs and belts and inserters and... You know, I need a sort of a better version of that. So I'll probably do that on stream. And then we'll start the run proper. Because what I also need to do, which I will do during the week, is work out the order of the text. Because I didn't write it down or anything. And I say I need to tweak the order anyway. So yes, that'll be the stream this weekend. I've got plenty of time though this weekend. So I'm not quite as constrained. You done these last few bits lads? You gotta get more. Oh, is that an inserter without... It is, isn't it? Inserter without power. Oh. So there is a flaw with this blueprint. So why is it okay on this side? Oh, it's okay on this side. Because there's another flaw with the blueprint. There's no actual blooming belts on there. Inserters on there. And as noted, it's a bit more painful to tweak blueprints in this game. So I'm guessing yeah, you're going to be powerless, aren't you? Okay, need to redo this one then. Maybe I can just move that down. Yeah, that'll work on it. Do that. Okay. I don't know which that one was. Drone carrying, I think. So put that there. So this blueprint needs a tweak, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, Friday I'm still going to be playing Satisfactory. That'll continue on for a while. So I'll put the magnets in there, I think. You know, I was moaning earlier about it being too much to stream on Monday as well. I'm enjoying playing the game. It's just the sort of timing of it is just a bit of a... It was the only place I could fit it in terms of both work and, you know, my personal time, as it were. But it is probably a bit much to do. What are you moaning about? Collide with other object, but you're not going to tell me what object. Brilliant. What object are you colliding with? Because I can't see anything over here. Is it the water? Oh, no. It's 29 of something. Yeah. Okay. So we've not got enough in... Why did it say collide with other object? It's not the most informative of symbols, that, I gotta say. So it's 28 of them, 1 of them. Okay. In fact, let's plop the other one down so we know exactly how many of everything we're short of. So it's that one. No, it's that one, isn't it? Okay. So I'll plop this one here. So I'm stood in the way. Okay, but I can't move. Oh god, it's painful. Love your game, but you need some work. Right. Why does it keep saying collide with other object? What other object? There's nothing there. Oh, and then it lets me put it down. What? I don't understand. Right. Let's get the bots in. Come on. Come on. Yeah, Satisfactory I'm going to figure out this week how to get to the Red Desert, basically. And then I'll see how many times I can die horribly to all these spiders that I think are meant to be in that part of the map. I just want to explore it, basically. And then we'll get back to doing some proper building. So we need 60 of them and 4 of them. Can I hand make... I can make 10 of them. 55 of them, rather. So... Was it 4 I needed? 4. And then... Inserters. I can make 102 of them. 3, 4, 5, 6. So that should get us everything made for that. Holly, I would like to see a starter-based design process. Mine can be a bit... It makes walls and turret miners steel, red ammo and all sorts. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Actually, I'd like to see a starter-based design process. Mine can be a bit... Okay. Yeah, I say I'd quite like to do a base in a book series. I know Neil has kind of copyrighted that phrase in a sense, but I would quite like to do a base in a book series, both from... Oh, did the stream go then? No, it's flashing off and on. But almost more for my own... I say this idea of having repeatable blueprints that I can actually, like a lot of players do and is normal, but build up my own library of blueprints, and say particularly for early game. And I was saying the other day that things like trains and stuff, it's like, as I've always said, I really enjoy the design process, and that's why I also, games with, like Anno and stuff we were talking about before. Those are, those are very heavy design. Is that all done now then? Yeah. Okay. Let's top back up on power stuff. Let's find the. There we go. Let's just drop it on here. Charge up, and then we'll fly back home. Because in this, I mean, I could probably fit in a couple more of like magnets and stuff. Maybe magnets I can and can't because of the thing. But basically we've got this planet is now able to make everything, I think. Because we've got cogs down now, so it's got a bit of everything sort of being made that I've done blueprints for already. So we can do that. If I get time, I'll do it myself, sort of thing. But we can do that on the other planet. And I say I'm envisaging a hub and spoke type logistics system where basically the interstellars will act to bring the bits that I want. So I'm going to try and avoid. You see, I mean, I can't really do it, and this is why I'm in two minds about going to another solar system, because other solar systems you have much more resources on every planet. But they designed this solar system. Is it not the X key? No? Oh, I've forgotten which. Oh, V, there we go. They design your start solar system so that it's like really rich in certain things, but rubbish in others on the different planets. So this then has got loads and loads of copper ore. And far more silicon than this one. Yeah. Just like force you to do the interstellar logistics within your system. But say if we go to another system entirely, then the planets will have like, in fact, if we go far enough away, they'll just have oodles of resources on every planet, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And what that means is you can avoid moving the lower level stuff around. So you don't have to, at the moment I'm going to have to move copper and iron between those two, or to the home planet. And therefore you lose the benefit, because obviously as you go up the tree, you get more and more material density. So electric motors represent more material squished together effectively. So moving one electric motor is the equivalent of moving, 2 iron plates, 1 gear wheel, and 1 magnet. So if a interstellar bot is moving 10 of them or 100 of them or whatever, then it's a compressed amount of material. So it's better to move higher level stuff around. But we can't really do that because there's only a tiny amount of copper here. So if I can't really make that many motors before I run out of copper, which means I've either got to bring copper here or I've got to take this stuff somewhere else in order to process it. But say on other planets, in other solar systems, that's less of a problem. You can make basically the higher level stuff and only move, and like even higher level on your planet, and only move that around. And so you're gaining the maximum benefit out of that compression effect. Am I charged up? Yeah, I'm charged up. So we'll head home. But say it does mean faffing about with getting warpers, building warpers. So we would have to do a lot to get there anyway. But I think I am thinking that we will build the Dyson Sphere somewhere else, basically. So I want to go there. But we'll get all the tech and stuff done here, probably. So, we'll finish the game with a on a different planet, on a different solar system, I think. Just because that'll be a bit more fun, a bit more interesting. Give us a chance to explore, which is always fun. But yeah, as I say on Factory, I would quite like to do a series doing a base in a book type of thing. And what I was saying at the weekend was basically, even though I really enjoy the design process, I make exactly the same thing for a lot of them a lot of the time. So the trains in particular, I do trains in a particular way because after like years playing the game, I found a system that works for me. So why don't I just codify it in a standard set of blueprints? Why build exactly the same, left-hand drive, two bi-directional rail every single time. And like T-junctions, I always do T-junctions basically identically. So why make them each time? But say if I do that as a series, then I can, stream the process and get the benefit, and then hopefully, maybe do another megabase attempt, basically. But the other thing I'd quite like to do is a modded playthrough, but not full on, because we're obviously talking about Crashtorio and Bobs and all that. I do want to give one of them a go. Is our planet round the back of this? I think it must be. But I'd like to give a go, like trying to build like a more... I'd almost like to go back to factory town type building. And build something that looks a bit more like a factory. A bit more aesthetically... I was going very fast then. And use Dectorio and those sorts of things. Did a tree disappear then? To make use coloured concrete and those sorts of things, so that it would be a modded, be different, but not radically different to how you normally play the game. Anyway, yeah, so it's 7 o'clock. Before the Spoon run. The thing is, most of the stuff in Spoon is not how I build at all. I've used a different way of doing smelting that I don't actually like very much, but it's quicker to build. So most of the stuff in that Spoon run is not what I would put in the Beast in the Book. I am thinking about making I say this goes back to the whole thing of getting my website back up and running. Where is the power again? Of making the map seed and settings and the actual blueprint itself available. If people wanted to... so it's over there. Okay. People wanted to sort of copy it, but that presupposes that people think the way I've done it is good. Over here. Right, yes, so that's it for this week. During the week, I will hopefully... so I need a little bit of fiddling on the Factorio, but I'll pick up with the actual interesting bit next week, at the weekend, so I won't really play much of that. But hopefully I will have time on this series to basically do exactly what I've just done over on the other planet with the copper. And so next stream, we'll do some of the more higher level stuff. So we'll use all the materials that we've just sort of gathered into logistic systems to make, for example, motors and turbines and that sort of stuff. So we'll go a bit further up the chain. So we got those available. And then we should set up some better production rather than, this sort of mallish type approach. Some better production systems for these, but they'll be more bespoke. We don't need, 25 factories making inserters, just because we wouldn't use them at that sort of volume and rate. So we can set up an interstellar logistics system, that makes inserters type of thing, and that has the local production for that. I'm rabbited on. Unsatisfactory, I say, we'll be back on Friday. And I will find a way up to the desert, and we'll have a silly episode of me just dying, not in the desert, dying in the forest, I think. In fact, we're on for Saturday. So if you've been watching, don't do Pianeta. I would never do. I know that one's bonkers. That's like, isn't it like 100 hours before you even get your first science pack or something? That would just drive me. I think if you said to me, this is the only game you would ever get to play again, I'd probably just jump off a cliff if I had to do something like that. That's bonkers. I know C Block's quite complicated as well, so I don't think I'd ever do that. But Yeah. So that's it for this stream and this weekend of streaming. If you've been watching, thanks for doing so. I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Dyson Sphere Program. I will hopefully catch you in another one. Cheers. I'm getting smoother with the outros, but I need to set up some hot buttons to do it, because there's then this pause where I find the button. See you later. Cheers.